The Swampfox Optics Warhorse is an FFP LPVO for your MSR, and it's DTF with OPP. The IR comes in either MOA or MIL, can be used with an RDS, and the CA-free FOV would work great for CQB with your BFF during SHTF. Today, I'll explain all these acronyms and try to make you ROFL so you don't click off the video and get FOMO. First focal plane means that the reticle gets bigger when you zoom in, and that leads to some interesting problems. It's too dang small, that's a problem. First of all, hurtful. But yeah, that is exactly the problem. In a first focal plane low power variable optic, the reticle starts small, and when you zoom in, the reticle also zooms in. Most LPVOs are SFP or second focal plane. That means the reticle always stays the same size, which means we'll have inconsistent holds at each magnification. Second focal plane optics are usually easier to make and less expensive. The challenge with most of the FFP LPVOs is that at 1x the reticle is unusable. Before we get to that testing though, let's talk about the optic. A few years ago, I ran a defensive drill with Green Line Tactical where you engage a target within 21 feet and then immediately transition to a 200-yard shot on steel. This is where the LPVO shines. It can also make a ton of sense in competition, 30 cal battle rifles, lever actions, your modern sporting rifles, I hate that term, I only put it in for the acronym, hunting, and all kinds of other stuff. I am rough with my tools, and the 6061 aluminum Warhorse has held up to normal range use, falling out of the safe, you know, normal stuff like that. I have absolutely beat the piss out of their Arrowhead optic, and from that, I trust their durability. For you Gravy SEALs, it's IPX7 and can survive submersion at 3 feet for 30 minutes, so rain is not going to be a problem. I've used it in the dead of winter and also in 100-degree summer heat, and nothing changed. It's been fine. Works in harsh conditions and will hold up, battle capable. Setting the zero was easy, and you can slip your caps, or zero reset as they call it, once you get zeroed. Just unscrew the turret with their tool, lift the cap up, and set it to zero position. There is no zero stop. The turrets have a very sharp adjustment. I can feel it and I can hear it, but it's not so aggressive that the zombies will find your position. The knurling on the turrets feels aggressive in all the best ways. Easy to grip and very nice. There are just under 44 mils of total adjustment in the elevation, so you'll be able to adjust further than you can see, and the reticle has 6 mils of elevation holdover. Keep in mind that R0 will be on either side of center, so we're going to more likely have about 22 mils of upward elevation adjustment and that 6 mil holdover. One thing I always check is how hard is it to change the magnification and adjust the diopter. Both of these are very smooth, not too difficult at all. It also comes with a nice, easy to install throw lever. This is important because if you do need to engage targets at different distances, it has to be smooth to adjust without being so easy that it can just happen by accident. Great ratio with the Warhorse. The glass is really clear, and it seems like they upped their quality on this one. Keep in mind that the footage filmed through the scope is with a Tacticam that kind of sucks. 4K my ass. I was unable to pick up any chromatic aberration, and that makes sense because it's a 1:6. CA becomes more obvious at higher magnifications. It has an adjustable diopter for those of us that need it and lets you focus a blurry reticle. The non-adjustable parallax is set to 100 yards, but even using it much closer, I had no problems. While it does have the normal anti-fog, anti-water coatings, I don't see any discoloration, which gives you good color and clarity. The reticle is their Dragoon reticle, and it comes in MOA and MIL, or minute of angle and milliradians. I got the mil version in both red and green illuminators. Earlier I mentioned IR, and that stands for illuminated reticle. This is where having a first focal plane optic really shines. In an FFP scope, the reticle scales with the magnification, and that means the size of the reticle's markings, like mils, remains consistent relative to the target for any magnification. For example, 1 mil at 100 yards remains 1 mil at 1,000 yards when you adjust the magnification. The overall distance changes, but your measurement stays the same. The measurement units don't change, making it easier to calculate holdovers and adjustments accurately at any distance. The Dragoon mil reticle has 1 mil increments for elevations and half mil or 5/10 adjustments for windage. There's a 7 mil horseshoe that surrounds the 0.3 mil center dot, and under that is a tree with 6 mils of elevation like I mentioned. At 1x, the center center dot is almost unseeable for me, and the horseshoe becomes my point of aim. Also at 1x, it just kind of looks like a red dot, and I was able to pick it up easily with the illuminator on and off while I was outside. The 1x reticle is better than most I've seen because to have a reticle that is usable at 1x, it becomes enormous and unusable at higher magnifications. This is a good trade-off and a pretty close true 1x. Illumination on the reticle is daylight bright. Now there's a bunch of manufacturers out there that have illumination that disappears under full sunlight, but Swampfox is killing it here. I have used it in full Colorado daylight and it stays visible at both magnifications. It has 2 NV settings and 10 others with staggered on-off. That's handy. That brightness comes with a cost though. I replaced a CR2032 battery before a range day, shot at the range for a few hours at level 12, which is the highest, and then I did what I normally do and forgot to turn it off. The next day it was quite a bit less bright, so I figure if you leave it on 12, it's going to be dead within a few days. I don't see any battery use claims on the website, and I really wish that this had auto off like red dots do. Bright reticles equal dead batteries. Turn your shit off, bruh. Reticle, battle capable. The Warhorse has a 34mm tube to allow for more light to enter the optic. It looks good overall, and my only nitpick here is the silver Swampfox logo on the cap. I wish that stuff was blacked out. It's like having a dealership frame on your license plate 5 years after you bought your truck. Like, bro, we paid for it. I don't want to advertise for you forever. It's personal preference. How am I going to operate with a big silver logo on my thing? I'm using the Swampfox hostile engagement mount, which has served me really well on other optics. Those go for about $150 and I actually really like them. The LPVO is 10 inches long and weighs 1.5 pounds. With the mount, it's 2 pounds overall. Once you start getting into these 34mm tubes, more glass for FFP and massive durability, you really pack on the weight. While good for a defensive home setting, any scenario that has you on the move might have you wishing you'd pack less underwear. I'm not wearing any. The eye box and eye relief are good with this optic. If you have it mounted correctly, you'll never really be hunting and searching for the sight picture. Very forgiving and easy to use. The field of view at 100 yards is 105 feet and at 6x is 18 feet. Physical characteristics? Battle capable, but not ideal in the weight category. Price-wise, it comes in somewhere in the lower tier. Now, while there's Sightmark and similar LPVOs for $300 and under, the Trigicon, Nightforce, Collies, I don't know how to say that, are about $1,000 to $2,000 and even more dollars. I checked Brownells and they had the Warhorse for $545. I'd say that's a great value for an optic that punches well above its class. Their warranty seems pretty good. It covers manufacturing and material defects, 10 years on the LED and a lifetime for everything else. They say if the product encounters any performance compromising damage, they'll repair or replace it. I like it, and I do know people that have used it with great results. I mentioned that the Warhorse is down to fight. You thought I was going to say that other thing? Well, I am also DTF. Start a fight in the comments. I really want to do some force-on-force stuff against opposition forces, or better known as my friends, here at the office with some airsoft or the Manus Blackbeard or something like that. Just doing some subpar room clearing drills with both eyes open, it did not make it more difficult and it did work as expected. One thing to keep in mind is that indoors with illumination off, you can barely see the 1x reticle. Now let's break it down! The pros. It's a step up from their previous LPVOs, which I really do like. It's versatile, and for a good shit hits the fan rifle, that's what I want. The cost is attractive for the quality that you get. Very nice overall package. And I've been running it on 3 separate guns for months. Beautiful glass. It really is an improvement on already good products from Swampfox. And the cons. 1 to 6 is less desirable for me. If I'm going to take on the weight, I'd like to be more versatile. 1 to 8 and 1 to 10 are where I really feel like the LPVO becomes a legit option. Ultimately, I would run an offset red dot sight with this if I was using it for a defensive gun, which adds to the overall weight. Using it indoors at 1x with the illumination turned off is basically worthless. You can kind of see the reticle, but not much, and you're basically point shooting. The reticle at 1x is like a red dot, but with a red dot, I want shake awake for defensive use. I know that this is a thing that affects all the manufacturers out there, but I want it. Please let me have it. Give it to me right now. Thank you very much. Scope caps. I hate them. I break them all the time. They break very easily. I do not like them. Battle capable? What do I know? I never served. I'm just an everyday dude just like you making YouTube videos that I wish existed when I started. Just the facts, never the hard sell. And you can watch more of my videos right here so you don't have fear of missing out on my awesome content.